What do you want to do? And what's stopping you?
For every limitation that someone has set for you, or every limitation that you have set for yourself, or every limitation that actually exists and is a reality, I want you to list 2 things that are important qualities or talents or aspirations that you have, because those things don't have to change. Those things can remain true.
Celebrate. 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 Celebrate you.
But you can redirect yourself. So when you find yourself comparing yourself to someone else, you can say, no, I don't want to do this. And you can even send a little positive energy back into yourself by saying, I'm fine the way I am. If you're feeling really positive, I'm great the way I am. The beautiful thing about the universe is that there are so many people who can appreciate your talents and qualities and gifts.
When you're experiencing loss, you're experiencing emotional suffering, and that's why it hurts so badly, because you're already experiencing emotional suffering when you're recovering from an eating disorder. So when you throw the loss into there, you get all tangled up, and it is a very tumultuous time for many. There is no normal time period for grieving. Everyone grieves differently, and that's perfectly fine. And there isn't a rule that says if you've grieved something for 1 month, now it's time to move on. Or if you have grieved something for 3 months, now it's time to move on. Many people think that way, especially when they haven't experienced a significant loss, but it's simply not true. Sometimes grief can take a very long time to run its course.
But the number one thing that I want to tell you is that you don't have to be afraid of grief. Grief can be very scary, and it can be very empty, lonely, but it's real and it's healthy. And if you let yourself feel it, you will get better, it will pass, and you will go on.
And be thankful for how far you've come. Because I really do think that being aware is one of the most important things. When we have that awareness and we're conscious, we can really see everything that is around us and understand that we do have a lot of positives. Even if there are negatives that are there, it doesn't mean that the positives aren't there. So emphasizing the positives sort of de-emphasizes the negatives, and it does build you up, and it does give you a sense of determination to keep the good things multiplying instead of the bad. I'm not expecting you to sit here and say, thank you for my eating disorder, thank you. But maybe you could ask yourself, what good things have come from, not my eating disorder, but what good things have come from my experience with an eating disorder? Even in the bleakest circumstances, there's always something to be grateful for. And it's really hard to see that when things are very, very bad, and when life is really difficult, and it seems that you are surrounded by negative things. But I promise you that there really is always something out there for which to be grateful. And expressing that thanks might seem really silly in the midst of all of the other things that are going on in your life, but I guess what I'm trying to say is if you take the time to be thankful for the things that are there that are positive and good in your life, even if they're very, very simple, even if they're very basic or they revolve around staple things that most people have, or things that we often take for granted like food and shelter, it can really change your way of thinking, but it can also really change your mood. And I think it's important to recognize that you have the power to change your own mood, that your mood doesn't have to revolve around what other people are thinking or saying or doing, and your mood doesn't have to be influenced by the negative things that might be happening in your life, because good things are happening too. And you have to find them. You have to recognize them. You might even have to remember them and remind yourself that they're there. And in doing that, you're really going to change your entire perspective. Hope is sort of a prerequisite for anything else. If you don't have hope, you don't have anything. You're not going to even want to put your foot forward and keep taking those steps to get better and to be better and to live life and wake up every day.
It all starts with loving you.
The eating disorder has to end so that you can begin. There's no other way around it. This too shall pass.
Because I want you to know that for every limitation, there are so many goals and so many dreams and so many things that you can plan to make a reality.
A lot of life is about making choices, and even though you didn't choose to have an eating disorder, you didn't choose to have a mental health issue, you can choose to recover. And when you choose to recover, a whole bunch of other choices come into play. And every day when you wake up, you're going to have the choice whether to live or whether to be bound to something. And that something is your eating disorder.
This is part of being your authentic self, not letting other people stop you, not letting other people's mandates dictate your life, not letting a number on a scale dictate your life, not letting your appearance dictate your life, not letting those things dictate your happiness, not letting other people's misconceptions affect the way you see yourself, not being involved in taking on the stereotypes that other people see to be your own identity, because it's not real, it's not true. You are the only you.
Celebrate. Celebrate. Seriously, celebrate.
Make sure you turn to the right things and the right people, and not to your eating disorder.
Stop thinking about how far you have left to go and focus on how far you've come, how hard you've worked, how fantastic a job you have done up until now. And be thankful for that. You're beautiful.